This is the start of side 2. And we now return to local news with Joan, who will start with sport.
And I start with sports shorts. And it tells me football. Enfield in 1893 continued their disappointing start to the new season on Saturday as they bowed out of the FA Cup at the preliminary round stage. Without a point in the Essex Senior League, the E's fared little better in the Cup as they slumped to a 3-0 defeat at Wivenhoe Town. Following an uninspiring start to the contest, the hosts took the lead through a Tim Dennis volley on 38 minutes. But the E's tried to fight back in the second half. But Andy Schofield scored a second for Wivenhoe on 69 minutes, and Ben Parkin fired in the third with 14 minutes remaining. Enfield 1893 host Haringey Borough on Saturday at 3 p.m.
Sport article, rugby union this time. Enfield Ignatians began their pre-season campaign by recording a 14-5 victory at Chingford on Saturday in a game played over 4 quarters. The visitors hardly saw the ball in the opening stages, but they gradually worked their way into the match and converted tries from Jordan Wilson and Christo Kasabi gave them the win. We had a number of players away on holiday and sent a squad of predominantly first and second team players to Chingford, said coach Emile Hertz. It went really well and the most satisfying aspect was our defence. Enfield Ignatians have 2 further pre-season friendlies before they begin their league campaign.
Some more sport. Winchmore Hill give a huge boost to their hopes of avoiding relegation from Division 2 at the Middlesex County Cricket on Saturday by securing a 6-wicket win at home to Eastcote, which saw them climb off the foot of the table. The hosts decided to bowl first after winning the toss, and Nabil Sheikh took 5 wickets as Eastcote were dismissed for 113. Hill made a shaky start to their reply, but skipper Jim Gatting and Delaray Terblanche then joined forces as they made it to 116 for 4 to move within 4 points of safety with 3 matches remaining. Everything went right for us, Gatting said. It just shows you what you can do if you put a side under pressure at the start of their innings, even if you don't take that many wickets.
And I have a sports item too. Desiree Henry capped a fantastic European championships for competitors from Enfield and Haringey Athletic Club by anchoring Great Britain to gold in the women's 4x100 metres relay in Zurich. The teenage sprinter produced a stunning final leg during Sunday's race to bring the baton home in 42.24 seconds as she, along with teammates Ashley Nelson, Jodie Williams and Asha Phillip, smashed the long-standing British record. Henry had also made her mark in the individual 100 metres, setting a new personal best of 11.21 seconds to book her place in last Wednesday's final, where she came home in 7th. I'm just absolutely delighted, she said. I was so glad to be there in the field and in the mix. I think I've done myself proud just to get to the championships and get into the final.
Now I've gone to letters, and an interesting one written by Mr. T. Clifford of Rugby Avenue, Edmonton. I have attended, enjoyed, and contributed to discussions at the Hazelbury and Upper Edmonton Area Forum for years. To my surprise, these meetings have been shelved. Having great respect for my local council officers and the elected representatives who officiate at these meetings, it is a shame that we are no longer given the opportunity to look them in the eye while asking pertinent questions. With the meetings cancelled, it means they are no longer obliged to meet the voting public of Edmonton and remain in their ivory tower, well away from scrutiny. Good for him.
And now a letter from Pat Dowbury from Upper Edmonton. The state of the pavement in Kendall Parade, Upper Edmonton, has deteriorated so much that many people find it problematic when walking through this area. And many people, including me, have fallen due to uneven paving slabs. To make matters worse, some recalcitrant delivery drivers make a habit of parking their vehicles on the pavement, adding to the problems people are already experiencing as a result of the uneven paving slabs. I have brought this to the attention of the authorities to investigate and put right before winter sets in, because if it snows, these uneven slabs will be covered up by the white stuff and will make it difficult for those elderly people who make their regular trips to Morecambe Surgery and to Rocky's Pharmacy in Kendall Parade for their medication.
And now a letter from Chris Bond, Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, in regards to the earlier article on drag racing on the A10. I find it more than interesting that we have at long last a Conservative councillor, Nick Downs, who agrees with the Labour Council that policing has been cut to an unacceptable level in Enfield. We have raised this issue consistently over the past 3 years in Council and with the Metropolitan Police, but all we had from the minority Conservative side was denial. You have to have some sympathy with Police Sergeant Stuart Gill, who tries his best with limited resources. What they need is more police on the beat, which would enable them to deal with the minority of idiots who drive residents mad along the A10 every Sunday.
And I have a letter from Hugh Ford. He is the Managing Director of Retail Trading and Training at Age UK. And he says, I'm writing in response to the letter regarding our hearing clinics, assisting in the demise of our NHS, which was in the opinion August the 6th. On behalf of Age UK, I would like to reassure E.D. Ellis, as well as your readers and local residents, that the hearing clinics run in partnership between Age UK Enfield and Age UK Hearing Aids always signpost people to the NHS when appropriate. Age UK Hearing Aids aim to find the best solution for every patient, advising on all the choices available and making the patient aware of all their options, whether it's the NHS and its important service for a free hearing aid or a bespoke option tailored to personal needs. The partnership between Age UK and UK Hearing Aids is a commercial one, which has been established to encourage older people to seek help with hearing problems. However, all profits are gift-aided back to help fund our charitable activity. About 6.4 million people aged 65 and over have some form of hearing loss, and around 685,000 of these have severe, profound hearing loss. We recognise that hearing clearly can have a dramatic impact on our quality of life, and therefore seek not to compete with local NHS services, but to provide choice and widen the opportunity for older people looking for hearing care.
Now to general news. As many as 60 jobs could be created in the east of the borough after work started on a state-of-the-art recycling plant. Recycling company Power Day has begun work on the 10 million scheme in Jeffreys Road, Brimsdown. The large materials recycling facility will be built on the site of the recycling plant, which Powerday currently operates there. A spokeswoman from the company said the plant would produce recycled materials by extracting them from waste before turning the remainder into renewable fuels, which will be supplied directly to Enfield. The plant is expected to be completed by April 2015 and will then process 330,000 tonnes of commercial and construction waste from across the capital each year. The aim is to reduce the amount of waste going to landfill annually. Mark Benston, a managing director of Powerday, said, "We are delighted to be able to start construction of this site. The plant will provide an environmental solution which supports industry in the capital and avoids the additional transport distances and environmental impact involved in landfill." Welcoming the prospect of green jobs in the borough, Alan Sitkin, Cabinet Member for Economic Development, said, "This is a real boost for Enfield's green economy, which continues to go from strength to strength." Powerday already has one large materials recycling facility in the capital, in Willesden, northwest London.
An inclusive theatre company has paid tribute to Robin Williams following his death last week. The actor and comedian, who was loved by audiences for his wild personality as much as for his acting roles, was guest of honour at Southgate-based Chicken Shed's annual fundraising gala held at the Victoria and Albert Museum in Kensington in 1999. He had been invited to the gala by long-term Chicken Shed supporter Bob Hoskins, who died early this year from pneumonia. A spokeswoman for Chicken Shed in Chayside said that people had been moved by his presence at the gala and that despite the passage of time, his visit was still remembered by all who met him that day. He was a delightful, kind, thoughtful and extremely funny gentleman, the spokeswoman told the Advertiser. He loved the Chicken Shed performance, and although he had previously read about us, he felt that seeing us live was a wonderful experience. His speech was hilarious and had the audience literally weeping with laughter. Robin also made a point of meeting all the cast members backstage, which at the Victoria and Albert was a beautiful, illustrious staircase. She revealed that many in the company still laugh at the memory of the actor, as he had insisted on sliding down the banisters from the very top to the bottom, which the cast had been told was completely off limits. Only Robin could have done this, she added.
Tons of grass cuttings have been moved from a Premier League football team's training ground after neighbours claimed an indescribable stench made their lives a misery. While Tottenham Hotspur's football stars train on pristinely cut grass at one of the best facilities in the world, those living close to the training centre in Hotspur Way, Enfield, are feeling the effects. Peter Dimitriou, 40, of Guy Lodge Farm in Whitewebb's Lane, was incensed that the club disposed of tons of grass cuttings in the far reaches of their grounds opposite his home. Mr. Dimitriou told the Enfield Independent that as a result of the pong, his son, Zane, was physically sick. He said, "What they were doing is absolutely outrageous, and I reached the end of my tether when my 11-year-old son was physically sick because of the stench. It is unbelievable. What happened was they dumped 200 tons of grass near our home and it rotted away, and when they turned it over, a type of slurry was produced and created this indescribable smell." The outraged resident claims that the smell caused by the fermentation of the grass on the border of Tottenham's land has ruined his family's past 2 summers. He said, "They churn over the grass and clear it in the evenings. In the summer, it is a lot worse. This has happened to us for the past 2 years and has ruined our summers. We can barely go outside without the stench hitting us for 6. We were promised last summer by Spurs that this would never happen again, and yet here we are with this continuous health hazard on our doorstep. We have more than 20 animals on our grounds, and I am used to all sorts of smells, but this cannot be tolerated. The council needs to confront Spurs on this issue because they are not doing enough." Tony Brewer, who also lives on Whitewebs Lane, believes the signage released a toxic liquid that was damaging the health of people living nearby. He said, "Tottenham Hotspur has blighted residents' lives here, and this has been unacceptable. I haven't been able to open my windows on many occasions. There was a form of liquid coming off of the grass, which was causing a rotten smell because the grass is fermenting." An Enfield Borough Council spokesman said the authority visited Tottenham Hotspur on August 7th. He said, "Enfield Council was contacted on August 4th regarding a smell that came from the large amount of grass which had been stockpiled by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club on their grounds. After a visit by the Council's Environmental Health team on August 7th, the club have agreed to move the grass. Enfield Council are monitoring the situation to ensure the agreed actions are completed." A Tottenham Hotspur spokesman added, "The grass cuttings are part of our green and compost strategy. We have visited the neighbour and the grass has been removed from the site. Grass cuttings will now go off-site to green waste management."
A library makeover has begun after the keys to the building were handed over to contractors. Boris Construction started work on the Palmer's Green Library in Green Lanes on Monday. The new-look library will be complete by autumn 2015 and will include new furnishings, more books, computers, free Wi-Fi and DVDs and CDs for borrowing. Enfield councillors, library staff and friends of the library gathered at the library to welcome the new constructors. Councillor Ava Orphan, Enfield Borough Council's Cabinet Member for Education, Children's Services and Libraries, said, "Next autumn, Palmer's Green Library will be a fantastic facility for students, children and adults. Equipped with the latest computers, a broad selection of books, music and films to borrow, and areas for people to study and job search, it will be a lively centre for learning, training and children's fun. I am pleased to welcome local residents and council staff who have supported its development and look forward to the continuing success of this very popular library."
Developers have quashed rumours that they have been forced to stop work immediately on a controversial housing development after breaching council codes. Protesters objecting to the building of a 231-home development on the site of a former university campus in Cat Hill in Cockfosters on the border of Enfield and Barnet were on the verge of celebrating after Enfield Council released a statement saying it had ordered work on the site to be halted. A council spokesman said, "Developers Quadrant Construction were ordered to stop work after council officers found the public highway had been left in a filthy state by lorries entering and leaving the site." The statement went on to say that after visiting the site on August the 7th, inspectors discovered that wheel washing was not being carried out, meaning mud and debris were scattered by lorries all over the junction of Cat Hill and Chase Side. Enfield Council ordered all vehicle movements on and off the site to stop, the statement continued. However, developer London and Quadrant Housing was quick to clarify the issue before any celebrations broke out. A spokesman stressed that on the inspection date, the company had been reminded to continue wheel washing procedures, but that work on the site had been continuous and had not stopped at any point. He said, "Work is continuing on our Cat Hill developments to create well-designed homes that match the character of the area. We remain committed to ensuring that our contractors' work complies with the important rules and regulations that cover all construction schemes." In the light of the company's emphatic denial that it had been censured, Chris Bond, the Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, chose to send a strong message of condemnation to developers. It said, "We aren't going to allow developers to scatter building site debris all over our roads because they can't be bothered to install proper cleaning facilities for vehicles leaving their sites. It's not acceptable, and we made our views very clear in this case. Residents living near this site have to tolerate the building work going on. They shouldn't have to put up with mud and other rubbish all over the roads outside their houses." So there.
A 1970s singer has been inspired to get back into the studio after his 40-year-old hit took off on YouTube. Jeff Collins, who recorded the song Only You in 1972, was spurred back into action when he noticed someone from Italy had put his song on video website YouTube. Given the lack of publicity, the 64-year-old told the Enfield Independent he was amazed by its popularity. He said that the hit is more than 40 years old, and all of a sudden I see it's been posted on YouTube by someone I don't know. To my amazement, it has gone up to almost 3,500 hits in the past few months, which was great to see. The cab driver, who is originally from Enfield but now lives in Manor Road, Barnet, was first given a recording contract by Radio Luxembourg in the 1970s and saw his song become a hit in Europe. Mr. Collins' song made it to number 40 in the UK charts for 8 weeks in a row, and the singer-turned-cab driver was within touching distance of performing on Top of the Pops. He said, "Top of the Pops told me if my song made it into the 30s, I could go on their show, but it stubbornly stayed at 40 for 8 weeks, which was a shame. I still managed to do children's shows with Granada, which was a great experience." Spurred on by his previously popular song coming back into fashion, Mr. Collins revealed that he wants to publish more songs. He said, "I have always loved writing songs and I would love to get published again if possible." I remember that song. It was beautiful. But of course it was in the 1970s. It was. I loved that song.
A woman was left flabbergasted when she was told she had won a fellowship award for her work with a charity. When Eileen Poole of Ponders End opened her letter from Cancer Research UK, she was expecting an appeal for money. She was left stunned when she was told the charity she had worked with for 20 years was honouring her with a fellowship. Ms. Poole, who works at the company's charity shop in Enfield Town, was recommended by shop owner Namish Baxi for the award. Speaking to the Enfield Independent, Ms. Poole said, "I was completely flabbergasted when I saw that I had been nominated and then chosen for the award. It is the last thing you expect to see. I had no idea my manager was going to nominate me." Ms. Poole was one of 30 workers chosen from 800 across the country and received her award at the Russell Hotel on the Flame of Hope Awards evening. Ms. Poole added, "It was amazing to get the award and I am very proud to have been chosen. I first started working at the shop 20 years ago because my mother-in-law and father had both passed away from cancer, which has since affected a lot of people I know." Well done.
A crowbar-wielding thief who stole thousands of pounds worth of goods has been jailed. Tolga Bimbuga, 24, of Riverdale Court, Enfield, broke into a house in Main Avenue, Enfield, and stole a Mercedes car key along with £3,000 worth of electrical goods. Bimbuga pleaded guilty to the burglary, which took place on October the 5th, 2013, and will spend a year behind bars. CCTV footage revealed that Bimbuga had bought the crowbar from a B&Q store earlier that day. He was arrested on October the 28th and sentenced at Wood Green Crown Court. Detective Constable Rob Delaney of Enfield's Proactive Crime Unit said, "This investigation would not have been possible without the help from staff at B&Q. With their help, we have taken a burglar off the streets of Enfield."
20 candidates started out, and now one has emerged successful. Samuel Ogundana, 16, of Wyfield Gardens, has been crowned the winner of the Young Apprentice competition in Edmonton for 2014. Teenagers have been battling it out during the past 2 weeks to take the prize, and Mr. Ogundana went on to compete in the London Apprentice event set up by Hebe Foundation, a Christian youth organisation. The 16-year-old was involved in 3 winning teams during the challenges and was project manager for 2 of them. Challenges involved finding items in Edmonton shopping centre, buying them for the lowest amount of money, and creating their own fashion brand. The aspiring entrepreneur said, "This program has given me a great experience that I can take into the working world. It also gives me an advantage, and I feel more confident in my abilities due to the many skills I have learned. It's a great feeling to win for my area. I was very close to winning last year, and to win this year was truly great. It has been a humbling experience. It's a blessing to represent Edmonton Green." Daniel Shillingford, the youth minister for Edmonton Baptist Church in Monmouth Street, which organised the event, said, "I am really proud of Samuel. He showed a great ability to adapt and learn, and has implemented the ideas and advice given to him in the boardroom, hence being the winner."
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening.